Fenty Beauty by Rihanna was created with the promise of inclusion for everyone, with an unmatched offering of shades and colors for all skin tones. You'll never look elsewhere for your beauty staples. Danaya Azure Radio is now sponsored by Fenty Beauty. Browse their foundation line, lip colors, and so much more. All you have to do is go to www.danayaazure.com. That's www.danayaazure.com and click on the link that says Next Legacy Fenty.
Threaten you as a corporation and say, in order for you to stand by me and this black woman who's doing the first black thing and you have the bragging rights on me, you have to allow me to continue to grow. And so as a result of knowing your power, that's how I've been able to pivot and kind of walk in the room a little bit cocky and say, hey, what God got for me, I got my people, I'm talking to y'all, so I'm asking for your support. But at the same time, let these corporations know strategically, if you want to use me as pro bono for percentages, you also have to back me so that I can scale. And don't just give me a piece of the pie. Put me in a position where I have the entire pie. That's all I had to do.
Larry, he's going to say period. Brother Earl.
I want to switch seats with Larry, man. Look, they're taking all the good answers.
I'm going to stop with you on the next one.
That's okay. I'm joking. No. So here, I'll just do a recap. I mean, from what I heard, and I agree. I think that you have to find your own lane. I think that's one of the biggest things that business owners understand. I mean, to everyone's point, you know, you can literally have 12 barbershops, but what makes your barbershop unique? What makes your barbershop stand out, right? I mean, I had a touring company, and I had a vision and a dream that I wanted to have one of the largest touring companies in the state. And so I said, okay, there's several different types of touring, right? I mean, you've got repo and you've got, I'm not going to go into any names because you guys don't know what I'm talking about. But what I would say is that there are several different ways I could have went in. But one way I saw a lane was municipal touring, which is touring for different cities and having city contracts. There were no blacks doing that. There were no blacks. So I said, okay, I'm going to make it my business to get in front of every city politician, every political organization, every meeting I'm coming in, I'm passing out business cards, I'm introducing myself. Every time they look up, they're going to see me on the news screen. You know, I literally wanted it to be to where every chance I got, I was in front of them, right? What's the importance of that? Well, eventually it got to the point where they were asking, who is that? Who's that guy? I mean, literally, people think I'm a politician to this day. It's like, because I went to the meetings, I went to the functions, I was putting myself in that room. And so I say that to say, whatever it is you're doing, I think you have to make sure that you are standing out. Whatever it is. I mean, you have to be unique in your own way. I mean, if you're making a burger, make the best burger. You know, you have to be able to look at the competitors. And that's why you see a Wendy's and a McDonald's across the street from each other. You see a Burger King and a Popeyes, because guess what? None of that is competition to them. Because they all do something different. Yeah, they're all making burgers, but guess what? This burger is different. This burger is called different. And so I would say definitely being unique, standing out in my own lane, and now I am proud to say I'm one of the largest black-owned touring companies in the state.
Let's give it up for Senator. Now, these are some good nuggets that we're hearing right here. Now, this question, and when I wrote it, it had me to go back and think about it. Now, achieving the first $1 million in revenue is a significant milestone for any entrepreneur. When I hit my first 7 figures in revenue, I cried like a baby. And it wasn't tears of joy. I was wondering where the money was at. I was sad. I got my tax payments back. 7 figures, wow. I want you to talk about the moment you realized you were on track to hit this milestone. What did it teach you about goal setting and financial planning? We're going to start with Senator Earl down.
Thank you so much. So that's a great question, Bishop. Look, what I'm going to say is, first, yes, it is a shocking moment, right? Because in some aspects, a lot of new entrepreneurs are not prepared, they're not ready, right? The IRS is right around the corner looking like, oh, got you, right? So, I took your answer, didn't I? No. But no, so what I'm going to say is that when you hit that million, learning how to reinvest. One of the things that I've made at a point in my life is to make sure that I'm reinvesting, whether it's the business, whether it's real estate. And I think that's one of the things that entrepreneurs understand, that you have to be able to circulate your money. Whether it's opening up another location, right? I mean, you hear Larry talking about opening up, a school. He's opening up a bank. You know what I mean? So being able to learn how to recirculate those dollars. Now he's taking other people's money and recirculating it, right? And so I think that's the important part when you're talking about hitting that dollar is, what do you do? What do you do with it? What are you going to do with that? Because a lot of us, right? I said it earlier. We're not trained. We haven't been taught. How to properly manage money, what to do with our money when we get it. And so we'll spend, we're going to look, I'm rich. That's the first thing, in our mind. It's like, but, $1 million in revenue ain't just a million in your pocket, to Marcel's point. And I think that's something else that we have to understand, is that hitting $1 million in business does not mean that you just got $1 million in your pocket, right? And I think that's a myth in the Black community, is that I'm a millionaire, yeah, but how much you owe? What was the write-off? It's like, and that bottom line is what's important, right? I mean, watching that bottom line, what did you profit? We're talking about making $1 million. What did you profit at the end of the year? Minimizing your costs, minimizing your risk. And so, for me, I am an avid, believer in, opening up a business. I love business. We're talking about the twin aspect, but I own several other businesses as well. I've got some business deals that I'm in the process of. Might even have some after this tonight. So we'll see. Very calm. But no. So definitely, I think that's something that you have to understand, is that never get tired. Always keep that visionary mindset, right? I mean, we're visionaries, right? So always keep that open, and never tie yourself down so much to where you can't keep that part open.
All right, Mr. Robbie, how was it when you hit your first 7 figures? And what did you learn?
So it's scary, because it's almost like you at Walgreens, you're at the checkout line, and they don't have those little things set there for a reason. They're actually set there strategically for you to spend more money. And so you have to, again, figure out ways to reinvest. And that's how I said, okay, I'm not going to go over here and go into party promoting, and I'm in pest control. Like for my serial entrepreneurs that brag on being a serial entrepreneur. But then it gets to the point you will drain yourself out going all over here if you just learn how to upsell currently what you have. And so the reinvesting piece, and then you all have amazing people, $1 million and under, have amazing benefits that you're not even aware of. Solo Roths, 401ks, knowing how to put your money into investments so you can move your money around, because money is moving and it likes to move, as Andrew Carroll would say. And so just understanding that you have to reinvest it, and I also have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, because you're never comfortable. The $1 million is like, but not be comfortable, right? And so if you can just get the mindset, it just taught me that 5 million, 10 million, you see people reinvesting and juggling that money, and it's going in and coming out, and they are never uncomfortable. So what I'm learning is just to not get comfortable. But that's the great part about the journey, is that you just get a chance to reinvest and flip it, and risk taking, and when it goes well, it's like, yes. And then when it don't go well, it's like, oh, don't do that again, implement it and keep it moving. So it's been great. It's scary, but I'm comfortable with being uncomfortable.
It's definitely scary, because you don't know where that money went, and you don't know what the IRS is going to come knocking on your door. And so the most important thing is to know your numbers for your industry. For me, in my industry, I need my payroll numbers to be under 30%. Make sure you're not over hiring and not under hiring. I need my sales to be at 10, and my advertising budget to be at 10% in order to grow my business. So for me, I had to hire an accountant and hire an attorney to make sure my business situation was fine. From my numbers to my documents I need to file. Also, I made sure I started a nonprofit so that I could make sure at the end of the day, if I had too high of a profit, I wasn't putting 30% out of the way the taxes. So the most important thing is knowing your numbers and understanding what does it look like to scale. In my business, I've only raised a little bit over $1 million. My recent competitor in New York raised $5 million. I know I have to raise more money, but I have to make sure I have a plan for where all those dollars are going to go. So give every dollar you make in your business an assignment, and make sure that you have the right professionals who can advise you on what to do, how to spend it.
You gave me the non-for-profit sauce. Woo! That boy dropping them gems.
That was good. That boy good.
So I used to say that I'm gonna be a multi-millionaire. I'm gonna be a multi-millionaire. God said no. I said, why, God? He said, because you're gonna be a billionaire.
That's right.
I'm gonna be a billionaire. But you have to go through in order to get to. But it's how you deal with what you go through that determines how you come out, right? So I remember first opening up the hair care industry is a $547 billion industry. A lot of us in this industry make so much money. A lot of us don't pay taxes. We don't have health benefits. We don't have 401ks. We don't have any investment. We don't have any of those things. I remember changing the rims on my Blazer when I was 18, 19 years old, like they were underwear. But I didn't pay the rent on a place I was renting. The lady come in with the 5-day notice because I didn't pay the rent, but I bought no rim for my truck. Or I'm on the phone making payment arrangements with the light company or the phone company while I'm cutting hair because I done put some sounds in my truck, right? So that's a part of not being able to handle where I was at the time because I made so much money. A lot of times we make a certain amount of money and we think just because we make $300,000, we think we can go buy a $300,000 or $400,000 house, and it doesn't work like that. And he talked about the non-for-profit aspect of it, right? So, and then even investing. I invest in things I understand. So I have 8 barber schools, cosmetology schools. I'm the first person in my industry. I just closed a deal the other day where I'm literally getting ready to build a cosmetology and barber school from the ground. Like, it's never happened before in our industry. The bank that I work with has never closed a deal like this before, ever, with somebody in my industry. I have a shoe and clothing line. I have shops in Walmart. I have a men's hair care product. I have an automotive school of technology where it teaches automotive, diesel, aviation, HVAC, appliance repair, and welding. And for me, it's trade schools, right? So all of the things I'm doing, it works together hand in hand. So I'm not like exhausting myself in all of these areas. So basically, as the non-for-profit, when he talked about the taxes, I can't take a loss because I have Title IV, like a regular 4-year university, but I do have a non-for-profit where you can take and you can give some of your finances to your non-for-profit to do certain things, which is a 990, right? But you're giving it to yourself and not having to donate it to other non-for-profits. Not saying that you can't if you don't want to, but it just kind of, you know what I'm saying, it works together hand in hand. So it's always good to do a 501c3. Everybody always talk about, I'm gonna start my own LLC. You just heard somebody else say that. You need to understand the difference between an S Corp, a C Corp, an LLC, and a 501c3. There are so many different corporations out here. So just make sure you understand what tax bracket you're putting yourself in. I'm the only barber school that ever had housing. Somewhere you build student housing from the ground where students get to come from all over America, all over the world to go to my school and they can live on campus, come to barbering cosmetology. Dope, right?
Period. Now, you know what? It was a lot of great nuggets from here. First, listening to Larry made me tired. How do you do all of it? But with a team. Early talked about knowing the difference between net and gross, because you can gross $1 million, but if you're not netting $1 million, you're really not a millionaire. Robbie said money moves. We got to keep moving the money. Jeff taught us now success leaves clues. And when you look at our counterparts that have these multi-million-dollar companies, they all have foundations and nonprofits. And Jeff talked about that. I don't want to touch too much on it because the IRS may be watching.
It's okay, as long as you're doing it right.
As long as you're doing it right. And Brother Larry is changing the game in his industry, but helping other people. So let's talk about opportunities, because you all talk about the different opportunities that you have. But success often involves seizing the right opportunities at the right time. Can you discuss an opportunity that significantly impacted your business growth trajectory? And so I know we all been in this situation, and you said it in the back, Senator Early. You get a call about an opportunity, and then you're like, well, I wasn't thinking about that, but let me think about it. How do you handle that? How do you know what's the best opportunity for you and how to seize it?
You want to go first?
Well, I'll go first because I don't want to compete with Larry with me. I got a torn school I'm finna do too, Larry. All right.
You
use my automotive school to get your truck.
Don't worry about it. I'm gonna call you. I'm gonna call
Use
you.
my pest control company.
Okay, I'm calling all y'all. Okay, I gotta just come to the club. These are tickets too. I already told y'all. Anyway,
And you got advertise on the radio.
what was the question?
When presented success, often, we have to make calculated risk in business, right? Entrepreneurship. And sometimes to be successful, you have to be able to seize the right opportunity. How do you know when it's the right opportunity to seize?
So here's what I'll say. Actually, I'll echo what Larry just said. It's having the right team, right? And knowing not only what you're capable of, but knowing what your team is capable of, right? I mean, I'm very diverse in my portfolio. I mean, I own a chain of restaurants as well. I've got a funeral home. I'm going to start another venture, and so, but I think it's a matter of knowing not only what your strengths are, but knowing what your team's strengths. I love business. So it doesn't matter what type of business it is. If it makes sense dollar-wise, I'll jump in. I mean, to Robbie's point earlier, we are all professional risk takers. That's what we are. We're professional risk takers. Someone had to ask me, what do I do for I'm a professional risk taker. Because you literally don't never know what the outcome is going to be. Larry's building a school. He doesn't know if that school's going to be successful. He's building it in faith on the hopes of it's going to work. But if it doesn't work, guess what? He's already got a backup plan. And that's, I think, the key to being a business owner, right? I literally just had someone call me the other day. Kiana's my witness. And it was offering me something. And I threw it away. Because I'm not privy to that, but I said, hey, I got somebody I know that you can talk to, right? Because people call me all the time with various different things. So I know when to say no. It's a matter of knowing when to say no and knowing when to say yes. But I think that that's important, is knowing, what your team is built on, knowing who you have on your team, right? There are deals that I'm taking today, that I'm taking on today, that I wouldn't have taken 2 years, 3 years, 4 years ago, right? Because my team is strong. I have more people on my team. I have a diverse profile of people on the team. Now that I'm in the restaurant industry, I got a person that used to run a pizza restaurant. So a pizza restaurant chain came into play. I got somebody on my team now, right? So it's a matter of learning and knowing your team, knowing what your strengths are, and not just personally, but a team as a whole. And also key to what Larry said is building the right team, having a team. Entrepreneurship is not about, we all are able to sit here now because we have a team. We didn't shut down. I guarantee I'm pretty sure you ain't shut down today, right? Everybody on this stage is making money right now, but we're making money because we have the right team. And so being able to pick the phone up, make a phone call, or whatever, if something goes wrong, but having that team that knows what to do when you're away. And I think that's another false myth in our community, is that I want to become an entrepreneur and I'm gonna work every day 24/7, I'm gonna be there, I'm gonna live out. No, that's not. Entrepreneurship is freedom. I'm gonna repeat that. Entrepreneurship is creating freedom for yourself. What do I mean by that? I mean being able to have the right team, put the right team in place, to be able to make other decisions and other moves. Larry can't build a school if he's sitting at a at one of his barbershops all day. He can't. He couldn't be sitting here in front of you talking. Robbie can't. If she had to go and chase the mice and the insects, she wouldn't be able to be sitting here in front of you and give you guys this knowledge. So I think that's the part too that entrepreneurs have to understand, is that you have to be able to set the team up to where you're able to walk away, you're able to take trips, you're able to travel, you're able to have these meetings, get into the right rooms, right? But you're not able to do that if you don't have the right team.
Thank you, Reverend.
No problem.
Robbie, well, listen, Early really gave, I think, all the answers for everybody up here. But that was a good.
Yes.
He killed y'all. Next question. No, Robbie.
And one more thing.
All right, we're gonna pull your coattail. But no, Robbie, would you like to add anything?
I mean, right now, what's happening to me right now, a service-based business, a restaurant, products, retail, all those are different businesses. So service-based, I'm used to. Retail, this is a different beast. And so everyone is like, at this point, is giving me calls. They're ready to be investors. I have a good product. I feel good about it. I'll share with you all breaking news. I got contacted for Shark Tank last week. Just having these opportunities.
Can I go on and hold the thing up? Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. I just want to hold the product up. Okay.
So I have something great, and celebrities are using it. It's like, yes, now, Robbie, get into Target, get into Walmart, get into here. And it's like, the shiny object part of this thing is not the long haul, and it's not the smart thing to do. Because what happens when you look at shiny objects? You run into a cash flow issue. trying to be popular and trying to be everywhere. Know your market, know your audience. And so my point right now is to stay humble, stay grateful to God, make the right decisions. And right now, I'd rather take the stairs than the elevator. So you all sit there on that and say no. So that's happening to me right now. And to answer your question is, I'm not looking at the shiny objects, and I know that God placed me in a position not to be popular and be known. He actually put me in it so that my family and my children and my parents can be happy and proud of me. I want y'all to see God when y'all see me. And so that's what it's about. So if I continue to keep that on the forefront, I think I'll be able to surround myself around the good people, make good decisions. And so, yeah, but I'm dealing with it in real time. It's crazy. So.
Okay, evangelist.
Y'all preaching up there.
Pass off for this. Pass off for this.
Let's make sure I write them ties off. Make sure I write the ties off. Right. I want to give a shout out to Kiana and the whole Power Conference team. This is amazing. Absolutely. I'm a big believer that we all are where we're supposed to be at every given moment. We all here for a reason, not just great information, because of the team. So first of all, thank you. One thing I want to add is that when it comes to finding opportunities and kind of discerning which is for you and which is not, it's just as important as you say no as when you say yes when it's a good opportunity. For me, I got a call. I was at Art Basel. I went back Monday to the crib after I kicked it all weekend. I got a call that I might have to do a big ticketing client. I might have a big ticketing client. I need to fly back. And it ended up being Kanye West, right? And we know, I'm a huge fan of his music, but I know right now he's not the most popular brother in the world. And so I had to make a decision about whether I was going to fly my whole team. Didn't know if this event was going to happen. It ended up being one of the biggest events we ever had on our platform. I would say the best quarter of our career. And so because of that, and so it's having a great 2023, we have a new strategic investment that we're going to announce in a couple of weeks from a big strategic partner. And so that's going to allow us to have our seed round, and we've already had folks who are now reaching out. So I think that what happens is you have to stay ready, so you ain't got to get ready. We had to wait in the hotel for 2 days, and just wait for them to make up decisions. But it was one of the best experiences of my life, right? And so I think that at the end of the day, the most important thing is that you're prepared and you're willing to show up when you have to. Right? That's what it's all about.
All right.
Yeah, just real quick, I think that you have to plan, put a vision board together, get you a 3, 5, 7, 10-year plan. Don't just jump out there. So even though an opportunity presents itself, you can't just jump out there and not have something in place to make sure that you can properly handle what it is. I'm a professional risk taker as well. I'm a professional risk taker, man. People don't believe the stuff that I do. But I told the bank, I said, they wanted to know like the debt you have, like everything. They're going to comb through your whole entire life. I had to give them financials for every last one of my companies, every last one of my businesses, because they wanted to make sure that my debt to credit ratio and all of this stuff. But I told the bank, I don't have any personal debt. They're like, yeah, that's not possible. I don't have any personal debt. Why? Because I positioned myself where I wouldn't be in a position where I wouldn't be able to properly take care of my businesses because of all of these things that I want. And all of these things I felt like I needed, where I'll forget that stuff, man. I want to make sure my businesses can survive, right? So at the end of the day, we just have to properly prepare and plan to make sure that we don't put ourselves in a situation where it can cause us to lose everything.
All right. Listen, we're talking, and I want you all to think. Entrepreneurship is not for the faint of heart, right? You got to be a professional risk taker. Can I say hell?
Yeah.
Okay, I know this is a church. I don't want to make sure. When all hell is working loose, employees are showing out, they not coming to work, funding fell through the cracks, that new contract that you flew out to Miami for didn't go through, and you done wasted all this money. How do you keep a positive mindset? How important has mindset been in your journey? And can you share how you cultivate a positive and resilient mindset amidst challenges?
I start. So every day that I get up, I'm born and raised in church. Me and you grew up the same way.
Saying the same
every Friday night. I got sick of getting saved. I could put spit on my face so they can let me sit down and thought I was crying. Seriously, right? So every morning I get up, man. First thing I do is thank God for another day. Activities of my limbs, all of that, right? Give God the glory. And I read me a few scriptures. I do something positive, right? When I leave out the house, I affirm that today is going to be the greatest day ever. God, please continue to bless me and my family so that we can be a blessing to others, right? And sometimes it ended up being the worst day that I ever had, but I never stopped affirming that it's going to be the best day that I ever had. So for me, it's just believing what God's word says, man. You know what I'm saying? And then of course we was brought up, you know, if you drink, you're going to hell. If you smoke, you're going to hell. And everything was a sin, right? And I had to break myself from it because that's not the God we serve, man. You know, God knows my heart. So at the end of the day, I used to always put everything, like if I got a flat tire, you know, I'm like, man, why I have to get a flat tire? Because I'm living safe and I'm doing everything. It's just a flat tire, Larry. Get the nail out of the tire, change the tire, and you'll be okay, right? But I used to always attribute, every time something went wrong, I attributed to, I must have did something that this went wrong. No, you're just going through a season right now, right? And it's how you deal with what you're going through that's going to determine how you come out, man. So, hey, if something go wrong, I say maybe it's just what divine for God to allow this to happen at this moment, but I'm gonna keep going. I feel like I'm in 2040 already. I'm gone, bro.
All right. All right, brother Jeff.
What was the question again? One more time.
How do you keep a positive mindset?
Oh yeah. So one day I had 3 dreams in one, and that's where I decided to quit my job the next month. And it was 3 dreams in one, and what I got from was God telling me that I needed to live in my purpose. And my purpose was to improve the quality of life in my community via health, wealth, and leisure. And I didn't know exactly what that meant until I had a second dream, and I had a headache. And it let me know that one, I needed to keep doing what I was doing, focus on health media, helping. I was working at Black Doctors at the time, and we were teaching African American patients about how we can improve our health, diabetes, all the health disparities out there that we need to work on. And I ended up launching a company with my little brother called MD Newsline that's doing really well. And then with wealth, it was during the pandemic, there were no events, and I just quit my job. And I decided to get a real estate license because I've been throwing parties for 12 years. And so I have one of the biggest databases in Chicago. And so there was no party. So I said, look, guys, real estate's booming. And guess who's a real estate agent now? He used to be a party promoter. And all my friends supported me. Within 3 months, I was a top 10% realtor at my brokerage. And so I now helped over 50 families get their first homes. Right?
Wow.
And then leisure, what I've been doing with events. And so helping people to really deliver and experience bliss through events. People are getting married. People are finding their friends. And now we have events in Accra, in Louisiana, in Indiana, where folks who are coming to events that they're finding on Event War. So for now, if it's within my 3 pillars and 3 of the things that God's told me to focus on, then I say yes to it. If it's not, then I keep that for somebody else.
All right, I love it. Okay, evangelist and reverend down here, we got 1 minute left. Let's knock it out.
Come on, saints. So in terms of mindset for me, I've had the pain of losing my mom about 2 years ago, but I had the luxury to sit next to her. And I went from grow my business, make the business great, give me this, to just saying, God, if you could just give her another breath and another 5 minutes, just let her live another hour. That humbles you. And it makes you say, okay, that's what's it. And then everything else on top of that is the icing on the cake. Your mindset is everything, right? And so just knowing that, have you ever thought about somebody, or somebody said, I brought a red car, then you leave out, you see all the red cars. That's not by coincidence. We are creators and we manifest, and the universe matches exactly what you put out there.
Yeah.
And so I'm a true believer in God, but I'm a true believer in already knowing that it's already done. It is nothing that has not happened in my life that I did not speak for.
Yes.
So I trust to know that when I walk into a room where I'm talking to you, it's not a cockiness about me, it's a cockiness of knowing who's doing it,
Yes.
and who's going to do it. So I don't even question it. And then whatever does not happen, that's in the greater good as well. So you just kind of walk around like you're on board.
Now, Robbie, they're gonna have to pick up the rest on your YouTube channel for $19.99 a month. No, early, I know we over time, but 30 seconds, 30 seconds.
I'll bring it on then. We were just talking about those time watchers in the hall. So look, listen, real quick. I would be remiss if we are in a church, right? So I'm gonna first number one say, always keep God at the pivotal instinct of every day, right? You wake up, you pray, and you honestly, it's truly, you shoot for the stars. That's what it is. I mean, it's like, literally, I wake up every morning, I look at my phone, and like, one night over, like, I hope it's not bad, but number 2, you have to love what you do. And that's what really keeps you going, right? When you love what you do, you have a passion. I love business. So literally, it's like, my wife was like, what is wrong with it's like what looks like chaos. Sometimes I even hate taking certain phone calls around her because she'll be like, what happened? You know, and it's like, I'm like, oh, that's okay. So, yeah, don't get me wrong. Business freaks you out, you know what I mean? But you have to be ready for it. And I love it. So, you know, I literally might yell, scream, or whatever, like Larry should have called me before I told. But after that, I go on about my day, and it's just you have to get it done. And so I would definitely say whatever it is you're doing, make sure it's your passion, make sure you love it, and the rest is history.
Listen, let's make some noise for this phenomenal panel. Larry, Jeff, Robbie, and